Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a full face of some new makeup, including some different holiday things. I just feel like that's kind of what you guys are mostly wanting these days. I know we love a good shop my stash and different rediscovered moments, but right now I feel like we do have a lot of newness out there and I want to address that and try it out. There are some things in this video, as you'll see, that are absolutely brand new to me, and then there are other things that I have a little bit more, to say about them. The first thing I'm going to put on is this new Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer Long Wear Makeup. I've been wearing this on and off lately, but I don't think I've actually applied it in a video. Also, I got hit in the eye with a tennis ball last night by Belle. Why do we have a tennis ball? Well, Bub sometimes like rolls around on one to loosen up his back muscles and whatnot, and I don't know, they were just getting crazy last night, and then all of a sudden I'm like sitting on the couch minding my own business and then boom, right in the eye. It's also that time of the month. I feel super puffy anyway, but anyways, we got some work to do. This is Desert Beige 2-in-1. I ordered this from my friend David. David is the resident makeup artist at Bergdorf Goodman in New York, and he's just a super amazing resource when you have questions about all things Estee Lauder. I'm dabbing this all around, and this is super duper thin. And the first thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this product is the Double Wear Water Fresh. Does anybody remember that? That's just an incredibly lightweight, liquidy product that Estee Lauder makes. And this kind of gives me that vibe. And I always enjoyed that because while it was so thin, I always felt like it actually covered rather well. Like, I wouldn't ever call it a full coverage product, but it always left the skin looking so much better. And I feel kind of the same way about this. It seems a lot like that old formula, maybe slightly less purely watery, if you know what I mean, but it is incredibly thin, very, very light. I put no primer on underneath this just so you could see the true like finish of it on the skin without anything else affecting it besides just my skincare. But yeah, it's called Double Wear Sheer Long Wear Makeup, and I feel I come away with light to medium coverage on this, and it does look pretty, and the skin seems to maintain a bit more of a glow, much more of a glow than you would get if you used regular Double Wear, which is of course more full coverage. I have enjoyed the way this wears on me, although I haven't put it through a real like sweat test or anything like that. Just the day-to-day wear that I put makeup through, it seems to wear really nicely for me. So anyway, wanted to share that with you. Also, friends, I'm going to use a concealer that I know I used a little bit right when it was new for me. I may not have even talked about it in a video. It's the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer in IVOC 110. There's like little codes and numbers all over this thing. For some reason I set this aside. I mean, I had it out here, but I wasn't really reaching for it or trying it at all, especially once I got that ABH concealer in. But this, speaking of thin, lightweight, this feels really light too. I'm just getting it all over. I'm going to dab it in at first with like the brush I just did foundation with and just see how that goes. I don't want to take away any coverage. It actually covers pretty well for how thin it is. I would say it feels even thinner than the One Size Butter Silk Concealer. Also got a little zip down here. I feel like it certainly added some coverage. I'm going to try adding just a bit more right here. Who else has tried this? What's your take on it? Do you feel like it wears better on your skin for as lightweight as it is? Again, it's something I maybe used a time or two, but I really need to assess it and pay attention to what it's doing. This is kind of one of those videos where you're in the test kitchen with me, But I must say the lightweight nature of these products and as good as the coverage looks, I mean, I'm pretty impressed by this. I'm going to pop on a little bit of setting powder. Today I'm just going to use my Wet n Wild Photo Focus. This loose powder is like where it's at. I can't get over how good it is. I'm just dabbing this on my under eye, setting that concealer, setting my T-zone as well. Overall, the texture of my skin feels not really like tacky, but there's sort of a gently hydrated feeling all over after that Double Wear Light. Or what was that called exactly? I think of it as Double Wear Light, but it's Sheer Long Wear. Okay, so this powder is just getting pressed in. Very nice. Then you guys, I really wanted to show you these new M Cosmetics. Well, they're relatively new. They've been out for a bit, but these M Cosmetics So Soft Cream Sticks. So we're talking bronzer slash contour and also a bunch of different blush options. For me, the shade that's called Terra would be kind of like my skin tone's contour shade. And then they also have one called Summer, and that one's a little bit, I don't know, softer, a little warmer as well. And then they also have some deeper options too, but these are the ones kind of best suited to my skin. But I'm gonna give myself like just a little streak of this. It goes on just full pigment with the softest touch. And then the blending is just incredibly easy. So I'm gonna take this little guy and just sort of swirl over that. This is the shade Terra, so it's more of the contouring kind of color, but I can't get over the ease of blending. Like, to streak it on out of the stick, and I'm not even like pushing that hard. You really don't feel like you're messing up what's underneath. By that I mean like the foundations or concealers or anything you've built up there. It's just super easy to work with and pigmented too. Like the actual feel of the product is so soft, and it doesn't leave behind this really dewy, tacky residue. It just, like, if you were ever looking for a cream stick that works perfectly with any other powder steps that are already on your face, like these are it. I hope somehow these get worked into like a holiday set or something that they do, but you do feel that creaminess when it first like touches your finger or touches your skin, and then upon blending, there's a thinness, there's a shearing out that happens, and it's just so easy, and it feels light as air. I haven't even used every single shade of the blush, but I do think this color called Baby is really pretty. So I'm gonna use some of that. Look how soft, okay? You're thinking like, what are we gonna get with this? It's like peachy pink, but not a real rich take on it. It's a very light and soft vibe. And I'm just, again, I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just kind of dabbing over it. And suddenly, I do have the cheeks of a baby. Speaking of babies, Bubba got a haircut yesterday. Nana cut his hair. It looks so cute. But he had all these like little light wispy curls, and we're like, you know, we're celebrating his 2nd birthday this weekend. Maybe he needs his first haircut. And it's just funny how slow I felt to want to do that with him, you know? I never looked at him and thought, oh, you need a haircut. It's just the natural way this little boy is. He's got little wispy curls, and it's just, you know, I wouldn't have had to have done a haircut on him, but he looks like such a cute little gentleman with it. I just love it. Okay, so that's Baby. Really subtle blush. I kind of chose that one for a reason because I've got some more cheek stuff that I'm going to be coming in with here, but these sticks are incredible. Just absolutely the easiest things to work with. I need to do a video talking about more of the shades because they were all sent to me in PR, but great job, M Cosmetics. That is a brand that I feel like just works and works, perfects a formula, doesn't throw out a zillion things at once, but like when they bring something to you, it's like, yes, we have really done our job here, you know? Also, guys, I have had so many requests to review and try this ABH Primrose palette. So I saw it go up on Ulta's website, and I went ahead and bought it. And what's interesting here is, unlike most of our ABH palettes, we've got shadow, but we also have some cheek colors too. And I want to see in the description online what they are actually referring to those cheek colors as. Are they calling them blush, bronzer, or just blush? It just says apply blush to the center of the cheek and blend toward the hairline for a lifted effect, but it doesn't necessarily label those as anything in particular. And then on the back, it talks about eyeshadow and blush. Okay. So in addition to all these eyeshadows, we've got Saddle and Grapefruit. This, I'm gonna try this just real softly. It looks incredibly pigmented, like so much just went on my brush. And this is my first time using this one today. Okay, guys? I'm gonna let a little bit of Saddle come around here. And okay, it's not so scary. If that little gnat could just leave me alone today. I'm like dabbing off a little bit on my hand. It's really pretty. It's fairly warm, and it's kind of rich. It's definitely matte. I wouldn't want to put on too much of it at once. Like I kind of got a little more than I really wanted there on the cheek area, but we're both learning today, aren't we? No, you guys are sitting there like, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't rely on that shade to be like my major contour, and they're not even really touting it that way, but it's just the tone is kind of in between. Or could it be toasty blush, or could it be something you put up around your hairline? It may vary depending on what your own actual skin tone is as to how good that looks on you and how much of it you want to wear. Now I'm going to take Grapefruit, and this shade is also matte. Whoa, and just a boatload comes off on the brush. And I'm adding a little of this to the cheek. Of course, I already had that M Cosmetics blush on there, which actually kind of coordinated pretty well with that color. A little goes a long way. Now I have a very peachy cheek. Kind of letting it go over the nose, because where else am I going to put this product? For highlight, I'm going to be using my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Universe palette. And then they also have another version of this that has, like, for example, instead of marbled looking blushes, they're more solid looking, and I ordered that as well. So I plan to do kind of a comparison between the two, but for right now, I'm just using this shade. I talked about this at first in my holiday haul video, if this sounds familiar. Really pretty soft highlight. As I turn my head, I'm kind of noticing that that effect of the concealer isn't quite everything I want in a concealer. That Lancome one we used. I think part of it is that the tone wasn't like especially brightening, and maybe I'm used to using that more in this area, and that's helping me with the little caverns. But I kind of noticed that this one isn't so much. And by the way, we are coming back to this for the eyeshadow, so don't think I forgot about it. But first I'm going to spray on some setting spray. This is my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Natural Finish. Beautiful fan of mist with this one. It just hits the skin perfectly. You will never have unsightly big droplets falling on your skin. I love that. And the scent is just like really fresh and clean. Then for my brows, this is not super new, but just something I really like, my Revlon Color Stay Brow Creator. I'm just going to pop that in my brows. It's a neat little product with a skinny pencil on one end and a little powder dabber on the other, and it just fills in the brows super quick. Really like it. Okay, see how quick and easy that was? And then you just twist off here. You have this little powder dabber, and you can like just get even more fill in there. I love it. We had just the loudest, most obnoxious thunderstorms last night. Like, are you one like me who kind of likes sleeping in the rain? Like, I like the pitter-patter of raindrops. I'll even take a gentle clap of thunder. But the claps of thunder that make you like jump out of your bed because you're wondering, is a tree falling on our house right now or something? Like, not exactly soothing. And it always surprises me how much the kids sleep through. Like, there could be a really big storm, and especially the girls, because in their room they have those skylights that are kind of, you know, they're off at an angle, so like you really hear the rain loudly in their room. It's like they don't even wake up. Like, I'll talk to them about it the next morning, like, did you hear that rain last night? And they're like, no. So usually they sleep right through it, but last night they were like up and calling, like thinking something was wrong. It was just super loud. Taking my little powder and this can be nice too, like if you just have little spots, like sometimes there's an area in this brow where I'm not always so good about getting it filled in super well, and I just go over it with that. It's like, okay, problem solved. And then I will use just a little bit of gel. I found this Brow Stylist Boost and Set Clear from L'Oreal. It has this tiny little brush. I just don't feel like I need any additional color going on here. I'm just using this to sort of bump up my brow hairs. And look how that just kind of defines them more. Now we're going to jump into the eye look. I'm very excited to try this stuff. I'm using my Milani eyeshadow primer. What did you guys think when this palette came out? Like, were you expecting something more off the wall? Did you like the combo face and eye concept? Did you like the color scheme? I like the color scheme because it feels just really everyday to me, obviously. Like, this color scheme in here feels super duper comfortable, okay? The neutrals, the mattes, in terms of mattes on the eyeshadows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the shade labeled Primrose has like a little very, very fine sparkle in it, but I suspect that's gonna apply overall matte as well. But that's what we're looking at here. We have some warmth, quite a bit of warmth actually. So let's see, I'm going to dip into rouge right here. And by the way, these pans of product, I'd have to really compare on like the ounces and whatnot, but they seem definitely bigger than what you get in a normal ABH palette. Who knows if these are more shallow, so I'd have to compare actually the numbers, but they seem bigger. So I'm getting rouge into my crease. This is a rosy brown. Really reminds me of like the rosy browns in the Too Faced Teddy Bear palette. And when I put my brush in, I do get some powder kicking up. That's very characteristic of your regular ABH palettes. So anything else from this brand that I've tried, there's always a super softness to the colors. A real similarity to Lorac eyeshadows too, is the way I've always felt about it, but I don't always hear a lot of people saying that. So we're just getting this shade really sheared out. Now I want to take this shade called Claret right here. This is another one of the mattes, but as you can see, a little darker, a little rosier. Ooh, that's very pretty in the crease. Love that. A teensy bit goes a long way here. Like I'm taking one really little dab in. We have owls hooting today. Really, really nice there. I love the combo of those shades. And then I'm just using a bare brush to make sure my edge is as soft as possible. And then I'm going to use honey. Honey is not incredibly light here. I think honey could actually work as a soft crease color depending on your skin tone. But I'm just going to lightly see what that can do on the edge. It feels like it's just adding a tinge of warmth, but if you applied that heavily, it could be a crease color, I think. To me, this just feels like such a self-explanatory palette. I mean, taking those midtones, getting them in the crease, and then I'm naturally going to want to take this shade called Deep Berry and pop that on with my flat brush. That one does not seem to be kicking up when I put my brush in, which is kind of nice because you want those dark shades to be fairly easy to control. But like I was saying, you've got these midtones that can very logically go in the crease. It's a really nice dark shade. And then various pops for the lid. Like it's just kind of a, I don't know. I look at it and I know exactly what I would do with it, you know? Some palettes aren't that way for me. But yeah, if anybody was hoping Em would get out of her comfort zone in this video, no. This just is a very comfy palette for me. That Deep Berry, like I'm really glad it's Deep Berry instead of just brown or black, because this just looks really pretty with those other colors. But there's a little different texture in that darkest shade. Okay, we're getting it in there. We're getting it merged with the rosiness. Oh, it's looking super good. I'm tempted to just take my crease brush that I first used and kind of work it in. Great, love that. Then I really want to see this shade called Primrose though. This little purpley wild card here. Let's dab some of that over the lid. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I used that. The softness, like I can see just a hint of like sparkle in that because it has that overall matte look, but a teeny bit of sparkle. Sparkle kind of barely shows, but the tone is everything, like that beautiful color. Oh, what a great take on purple. That is lovely. Ooh, I could picture that shade going all over the lid into the crease, practically like a one shadow eye look. Then further inward on the lid, let's pop some shimmer. I'm going to use rose water. Wow, that picked up very fully. Oh man. Oh, effortless. What a pretty splash there. Wow. Okay. Just like ABH shimmers in other palettes. What you see is what you get. A teeny bit of fallout I could notice falling down when I used that shade. But that's so pretty. So you got rose water and then you could go more pinky, golden, or copper. So did you see that? Rose water was what I just used, but peony would take you more pinky, more golden with sparkling amber, or more copper with the fire opal. So you really have so many ways you could take this, and you know, I did use a certain amount of lid space for that actual primrose purpley shade, but you could go so much more with the shimmer content of an eye look here. What I want to do next is go into my Deep Berry with my Profusion small pointed brush. And I want a little bit of smokiness down here on the lower lash. Overall, I would say I'm really impressed by this palette so far. Obviously, it's only had this one go round for me so far, but I really like what I see. I like that the textures seem so consistent with what I know and love about ABH shadows, and the color scheme is very me. I'm taking a light liner to the lower inner rim today because I just need that openness today more than ever, with my eyes just being, this one especially being a little puffy. I'm going to do a quick line across the upper lash line. This is just my Too Faced Better Than Sex liner pen that I've been using a lot lately. And then I don't think I'm going to do any lashes today. I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics Superhero. Also, if we're talking gifts, the Shiseido Lash Curler would be a great stocking stuffer. This one that I'm using, I actually, was it last year? Yeah, last year that I got this. Just had this pretty gold look to it, and I thought, oh, I want to get that, and it was being sold as a special holiday thing, and now they sell the gold all the time, even on Ulta's website, so that's cool. Really has a nice fit to my eye, a nice squish there to the pad that's on it. I did get a little on my eyelid, oh no. Don't you just hate that when the mascara has to come in and cause trouble? It was right over where I put the Primrose shade, so I just dabbed a little more back on. Can't even tell now. The one thing that kind of confuses me a little about the Primrose is the face colors. Like, I can tell that the color called Grapefruit is definitely a blush. The other is sort of like either the most bronzer looking blush that's ever existed or just, you know, a super warm bronzer. I'm leaning toward wearing that in the future more just as a toasty blush and using my own bronzer and contour tones that I'm more comfortable with and just sticking to that, you know? Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions. You know how we roll here. We don't want smudges. This doesn't smudge us on the lower lashes. And then for lips, you guys, and I plan to do like a full try-on review with these, but I got the Benefit California Kissin' Club. I remember sort of like not hopping on these when they first came out in full sizes, but I saw that there was a little set here and it was $26. Here's the shade spread that we've got. And I just figured, you know, now is a more compelling time to try this than to just buy full sizes. I'm going to use the color called Berry because I just feel like it's going to mesh with the eye look. Really cute packaging here, a little domed cap. If I put my finger in, maybe you can see the little face that shows there. And then it's just a flat balm cut straight across. Wow, super full color for a balm. Almost walking the line of not quite being precise enough for me because it is so colorful and yet so just junk blunt cut. Smells really fruity. Texture is beautiful. What would I compare this to? Sort of like a L'Oreal Color Shine, maybe a little bit thicker, but gosh, can't argue with the look on the lips. It really looks pretty. The color is very opaque. Sorry for the little tease here, but I'll be trying all those on in another video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite products were that you saw used in this video. For me, I think a lot of this centered around the Primrose palette, and I really like the tones in there. Very pleased with the textures also. I just found them so easy to use. Those M Cosmetics sticks also, not really like a new holiday release type thing, but just a new thing in general that I thought was really good. And I think that Estee Lauder foundation is beautiful. And that Lancome concealer, while it was nice and light, I feel like I could go for even more coverage and brightening. So I'm not calling it a bad concealer, but I just think my look could benefit from even more brightness there. So thank you guys again so much for being with me today. Thank you for all the holiday requests. Again, the Primrose palette had lots of requests, so I really wanted to work it into a video, but I hope you guys have a great day and I will see you again soon. I love you. Bye.